Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Devil's Digest postgame show following Arizona State's 82-67 win over USC. My name is Justin Lasfertosa. Alongside myself, as always, is publisher Hode Rubino. And Hode, after that loss to UCLA, kind of seems like Arizona State came out with a vengeance. They blew off some steam in this game, won by a convincing margin, and Bobby Hurley said you either have to get stops or get buckets. At Arizona State tonight, they did both.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it was really imperative for ASU to flush that frustrating loss to UCLA as quickly as possible from their system. And Bobby Hurley admitted that having that extra day to flush it, because usually it's a Thursday, Saturday homestand or road trip for that matter. But just because ASU did play on Wednesday, they did have extra time to really just put that loss in the rearview mirror. And I said after the UCLA game, Justin, that it was going to be really the ability to bounce back, to have a whole different mindset that's going to be key against this USC team. And I know ASU proved a lot of different things this afternoon, but I think more importantly, they were able to really prove that the psyche of this team is really intact. And as crazy, bizarre, insert your own adjective, that UCLA loss was, I think that ASU did bounce back in a really convincing way against this USC team.
Yeah, and offensively, this ASU team, they've been making strides for the better part of the entire season. But since the beginning of the season, defense has been the identity of this group. 22 turnovers forced, 24 points scored off those turnovers. Frankie Collins himself, 6 steals in this game. What do you got to say about ASU's defense?
Yeah, you know what? This stat sheet is going to be bizarre, and that's going to be probably an understatement, because as much as you talked about the shortcomings of USC and the great defense that ASU played, USC shot 46.6% from the field. I mean, that is a figure that USC, heck, any team in college basketball would largely take game in and game out. And even with that impressive field goal shooting, Arizona State really imposed their will over the Trojans. In the first half alone, there was a 15-point turnaround. USC was leading by 8. ASU finishes the half with a 7-point lead. And like I said, Frankie Collins coming into today already was top 5 in the country in steals. Having 6 steals, all of them in the first half, by the way, is definitely not going to shake that impressive standing whatsoever. And I think maybe not so much on the defensive side, but just on the hustle side, if you will. Brian Salabange finishes the first half with 11 rebounds, and check this out, 9 of them on the offensive end. All season long, we've been talking about ASU's difficulties in really controlling the boards. And today, by the way, was no different. USC did control the overall rebound battle, I think, just by 10. But ASU, just in the key moments, really was able to rebound the ball well. And as I said just a second ago, really do so on the offensive end. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, ASU's calling card is their defense. Jeremiah Neal admitted something that may rub ASU fans a little wrong way. He says, we're not a half-court offense. Our offense is our defense. And ASU also had 27 fast break points. And I think in almost every win that they had in Pac-12 play, they did score over 20 points in that statistical category alone. So this really was a classic ASU win, if you will, with the defense displaying outstanding. Again, even though maybe the stat sheet's not going to show an entire picture of how well this defense played, but this definitely was a performance that did frustrate USC. Now, I should say in fairness that USC missing both their top guards, Isaiah Collier and Boogie Ellis, I think showed a lot. Bronny James, as talented as he is not a classic point guard, and Frankie Collins was able to frustrate him quite a bit, and that would be probably even a gross understatement for anybody that saw the game in person or on TV. And we talk about seeing a game in person, an outstanding crowd at Desert Financial Arena, not only the largest crowd of the season, over 13,700, but also a very energetic crowd that I think was key, especially in the first half, concerning that 15-point turnaround. And again, I think it's really rare to see a team play defense so well on their home court without the crowd pushing them, and that definitely was the case this afternoon in Tempe.
Yeah, and you mentioned the crowd. That was a big factor towards this ASU win, but now ASU goes back on the road. We know how hard it is to win road games in this Pac-12 conference, and now Arizona State faces arguably their biggest test yet against Oregon next Thursday, who's 5-1 in the Pac-12. Arizona State is 5-2, looking to get a win that could potentially catapult them up to first in the Pac-12 conference. What do you think Arizona State needs to do to pull out a big win against Oregon?
Well, again, not to belabor the point, it's defense, defense, defense. This team is going to go as far as their defense is going to take them every game, let alone let alone the entire season. Another thing that I really liked also was the balanced scoring. I mean, Frankie Collins has 17 points. Jose Perez with his fifth 20-point game of the year. Alonzo Gaffney and Jeremiah Neal also scoring in double digits. So it's not only the defense, but I just really also like how the offense is really spread on more than one or two player. So that's something that really is going to be really key for Arizona State. ASU is a team that played just kind of okay on the road. I mean, sure, they started out Pac-12 play with two white knuckle wins against the Bay Area schools. Both of them required not only a second half deficit comeback, something that Arizona State is accustomed to quite nicely under Bobby Hurley, but I think both games was actually a double-digit second half deficit comeback win. Oregon, I think, is a team that you can ill afford to try to duplicate that effort that you had earlier in conference play. But without a doubt, if their defense plays as well as it did today, again, maybe you allow your opponent to score over 45% from the field. But if you have over 20 turnovers, USC, by the way, was 0 of 8 from three-point range in the second half. If ASU can try to duplicate numbers like that or come at least very, very close to it, I think they'll be fine. But more than anything, just as we talked about ASU really flushing out that frustrating loss to UCLA, I know they're on cloud 9 right now. I mean, not only did they win, I mean, great crowd. They're feeling energized and feeling maybe they got their mojo back. But if ASU is going to have a right approach for the Oregon game, flush this game too. And I know might be harder to flush away a win, but ASU just has to realize that, to your point, Justin, this might be their toughest game the entire season. Oregon is playing elite basketball right now, a team that I'm not going to be surprised at all if they win not only the regular season Pac-12 crown, but also the Pac-12 tournament crown in March in Las Vegas. So ASU is really going to be it really has to be at the top of their game. They showed they're capable of doing it against USC, even though they had key injuries. But nonetheless, I think that ASU, if they play the defense they play like they did today, which I know is going to be much easier said than done to duplicate every game, that they can beat Oregon, they can beat, I think, almost any team in the Pac-12 right now.
So Arizona State splits the homestand against UCLA and USC, and again, they'll be visiting Oregon next weekend to take on Oregon and Oregon State. As always, to stay locked in on everything Arizona State sports related, go to DevilsDigest.com. Follow Devils Digest on Twitter @DevilsDigest. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.